Mhm. Let's see. New window. Copy password. All right, I think we should be set here. How are you guys doing today? Anybody take any trades? You doing all right? Was pretty wild off the open this morning. Let's see, who is this? Request to speak. Sure. Knock yourself out. Check chat. Make sure everything's working. Lazio caught the Trump speech, helped a short buy on U.S. oil to give you that 2 up. Nice. T. Roswell says 18,770 would be top step lockout amount for limit down. So Top Step has a 5%, I think within 2% of CME limit down, so 5%. 18,387 probably looks about right. Let's do a quick check. Looks like your math is pretty good, my man. Good to know. Might mark that on my chart if we continue to sell off, just to give myself a heads up. So if you guys are in funded accounts, typically you will be locked out of prop trading when we get within 2% of limit down. So limit down is if we make a 7% move in a single day. The market will be halted until when, I don't know. I haven't been trading futures long enough to know exactly how that works. Market is in pre-open. I don't know what that means, but I got no candles. So got no data here on Top Step. Just gonna patiently wait because I believe TradingView even hung. I thought Nasdaq was halted for some reason. Austin mentioned Tradeovate was down momentarily. I got nothing on TradingView. Let me reload just in case. Anybody else not seeing live market data come through? Or is it just me? I see ES appears to be moving now. Abraham says, "Hey Tom, new here, interested in learning about futures trading. Any suggestions on where to start?" Check out Sarah here. I'll post my generic. Wait, are you a strat trader? Or are you just new to trading? What's your? Give me your status. I'm gonna post this anyway for anyone else who's curious. This is where I always suggest people start. It's Sarah's Stratification playlist and Alex's Strat A to Z. I know he's got a newer video out that he says is better. Um, That's where I started. Futures, there's really no. I trade futures the same way I trade stocks, the same way I trade crypto, all the same. There are a few little nuances with futures, like you got to be aware of contract rollover dates. But in general, there's not a whole lot that you need to know. I mean, I jumped into futures and within like a day or two, was fairly comfortable with. That was weird. Why'd we get an open 2 minutes after? Anyone know? I know we got some smart people in here. So I'm going to update my daily open price level. I mark the monthly, quarterly, the weekly, and the daily open, so I know where we're at uh, regarding time frame continuity. Daily open is 19,020 flat. So as long as we are under the daily open here, we've got full time frame continuity to the downside. You can see on my chart right here, monthly, quarterly open, weekly open, daily open. So full time frame continuity to the downside if we stay under the daily open here. There's the weekly, here's the monthly, quarterly. We just had a flip. So underneath of this, I'll be continuing to look bear. Right now I would expect we had a little gap down, maybe we gap fill and then pick a direction. Price action and you trade forex. You can trade forex the same way. I mean, it's all, for me, I'm a strat trader. That's what I know. That's how I trade. That's what works for me. After, exploring many different strategies my first year or two, and then finally finding the strat and kind of latching onto that. So learn the strat and you can trade anything that I could trade, soybeans or corn or oil. I'll trade gold, any of the futures, commodities, the indices. I trade stocks the same way, options the same way, crypto the same way. I would trade forex the exact same way. E. Rosal says perhaps CME balancing orders. Uh, is it Jihi? Jihi? Gigi? Gigi? I don't know how to. I'm gonna butcher your name. Wanted to know: do I wait for actionable signals on the hour and 4 hour? Ideally, yes. But if we don't have anything on the hour and 4 hour, like the one thing I do that I will trade on a 4 hour is this outside bar, this expansion. So outside bar with full time frame continuity, I will trade this short. But this is a broadening formation. Sometimes you get smacked in the face, but when we have full time frame continuity, then I'm interested, and it just means that for me that they have to go. Once they start getting some momentum, they need to go. 1 second, guys. But yeah, the way things stand, it's we've got an outside bar on the 60, an outside bar on the 4 hour, the 12 hour, and the day, and we are breaking to the downside. That's really the only setup, and I'm just gonna be a little patient here, kind of wait and see what happens. Mainly because this is the first time since I've been trading futures, which has only been about 6 months, I think, where I've seen this kind of volatility in a short period of time. So just being cautious, no need to rush into anything. I've got really good stats on my primary account. I'll be eligible for a payout if I have two more winning days of 200 or more, and I am not in a hurry to make any stupid mistakes. So if nothing really sets up tonight, then I'm sure there will be opportunity tomorrow. So don't feel like you need to rush into something. The market is not going anywhere. I can assure you there will be other setups on the 60, the 4 hour. If it, 10 o'clock Eastern in, what is it, 3 hours and 55 minutes, 54 minutes, we're going to get a new 4 hour flip. So there may be a new 4 hour setup or a new 60 setup if we just wait 55 minutes. And you guys will just get to listen to me kind of ramble on, and we'll talk maybe some psychology stuff. We'll keep an eye on these charts. We'll take a peek at maybe like gold, silver. Oil is down bigly. So let's do some quick browsing around here because I'm not, again, just gonna smash into anything. So oil sold off pretty hard. Gold holding up relatively well. Silver sold off a bit. Platinum, copper, Bitcoin down. Natural gas not doing too bad. The Nikkei getting crunched. So definitely not looking good for bulls. But let's kind of be patient here and see how things shake out. Also, usually throws me off when we get these big moves. This right here on a tick chart does not look like a 98 point move, but it is. So it becomes very difficult to manage risk where I would ordinarily, be like, let me put my stop here with an entry here. You really gotta kind of zoom in to see how, what kind of move we got here. That's 121 points already. So we're going to do the same thing here. I'm also going to zoom into the 1 minute chart. So usually I have these scaled where each line is about 10 points, and you can see it is really kind of difficult here to get some perspective on how what the ATR is on these candles, right? I mean, this is a 1 minute candle here. We're up 40 points during Globex is pretty intense. So don't want to get myself caught on the wrong side of a trade where we start kind of ripping in one direction. Even with a micro, you can 50 points on a micro is $100 loss. Which reminds me, real quick, I am going to lock up my risk settings. Actually, New York account gets locked until New York pre-market at 4 a.m. So make sure that's right. This is basically me setting my daily loss limit to $500 max. And if I hit that $500 loss, it will liquidate and block my account. And I'm locking the risk settings so I can't go in here when I get, if I'm down $400 and about to have my account locked out, I can't just change it to 600 or 1,000 or delete it and end up blowing the account, which is kind of my kryptonite. So big fan of these top step risk settings. They save me from myself, and I think I got all of them here. So it's kind of the first thing I do when the market opens. Because if I catch a bad trade and all of a sudden I'm down 300 or 400 bucks, I'm going to be fiddling with my daily loss limit, and then that's when bad things happen. End up making terrible mistakes, over leveraging, trying to recover, and nobody wants that. Very important for me, and I highly recommend for anyone else who is either new or, I mean, even if you're an experienced trader, you should have a personal daily loss limit that you respect. If you are down X amount of dollars, you cut yourself off, you shut it down, you walk away. That's it. You're done. Do not let, 2 weeks worth of grinding where maybe you're up 2 or 3 grand and then you blow all of it in 30 minutes, over leveraging, over trading, revenge trading, not sticking to a daily loss limit. You got to learn to be okay walking away red. It's part of the game. These candles are huge. I like to use the 100 tick chart during overnight and the 1,000 tick during New York. Could probably go with 1,000 tick at this point just because of the volume that's being traded. This might be a little too much, but something I've been experimenting with. It works for me. Again, I'm not using this to enter trades. Somebody mentioned that I was talking to earlier mentioned they had to get rid of the tick chart. They're trying to take. I'm assuming they were trying to take kind of entries off of this and not looking at where we're at bigger picture. I'm always looking at bigger picture. And then, like let's say I get into a position here. Like let's say I got into a short. That's not what I want. Like let's say I got into this short, we get a little bit of a pop. Like I'll use this, as an area to put my stop. And if we get more follow through down here, maybe I'll use this zone for my stop. It's just gives me a little more market structure to go by. You can see we're in a downtrend here, lower highs, lower lows. But always, I'm focused on the 60, the 4 hour, the 12 hour of the day. Highly recommend it for anyone out there who might be struggling, or if you're getting chopped up on a 1 minute, a 5 minute. Pay attention to what's happening bigger picture. That's what really matters. Oh, I'm also going to be copy trading here. Let's see, which account can I use? I think I can use backup one, copy trade primary, and backup two. So I'll be copy trading 3 funded accounts. So my risk is times 3, my rewards times 3. And that is another reason that I'm going to be very cautious, because I'm not just trading a single account. Got to make sure that I take smart trades, that I manage risk, and hopefully when I catch a good trade, it will count in 3 different accounts. Let me check back on chat. Sorry guys, just kind of getting myself situated here. Um, Gold gapped up, and I'm gonna move down. Sound gone? Okay. Don't freak me out, Lazio. I've had these ongoing sound gremlins that like to disconnect my mic, and then I talk for 3, 4, 5 minutes. I don't realize it, and then I'm like, Jesus, God, I gotta go back and like figure out where I left off, and I'm probably dropping like amazing knowledge bombs. So nobody wants to miss that, of course. What's up, French? How you been doing? Lazio, what's the difference between CFDs and futures? CFDs are just contracts for delivery. You could get a better answer from ChatGPT, but it's my understanding you're not trading the actual asset. You're essentially betting whether the price is going to go up or down. So, um, you could say it's similar to futures. I don't think they're as regulated. In fact, they're not allowed in the U.S., and probably for good reason. Futures is a regulated market. You've got an exchange that sets the price. Everyone is trading the same thing. I don't like if you trade CFDs on one broker versus another, there may or may not be discrepancies in where they price them. I don't really know, because I just, it's never been something I've considered trading as a US citizen. Like I would have to jump through hoops to trade CFDs, but you're basically getting like a betting slip. Is the price going up or down? And, again, you could say futures is the same thing. We're just picking a direction, but futures is a regulated market. So do with that what you want. I know that some people aren't able to trade on certain prop firms if they're in certain countries, and CFDs might be your only option. If that were the case, I would potentially trade them, but do your research. Make sure that you're trading with somebody who's reputable, who is going to pay out. You know, that's that's the biggest thing for me. French says I logged off at like noon. What made that dump happen? Are you being sarcastic? Trump tariff Liberation Day. U.S. Imposing like global tariffs against any country that has tariffs on the U.S. He did a press conference at 4, and market no likey. In summary, so yeah, it was pretty wild. I've not seen that kind of volatility trading futures since I started. But again, I'm new to the futures game. I've seen halt downs on stocks like GameStop, and when I first got into trading options trading, I've been in tickers that have halted, or super familiar with that process. But I've not seen us dump 1,000 points in 30 minutes, whatever it was. We're actually down more now, so from the high before Trump, or shortly after Trump started speaking. I mean, we're down 1,200, 1182, almost 1,200 points, which is pretty intense. So I wasn't sure if you were just trolling or joking or whatever, because I in Top Step Discord, I was posting messages like, "Hey guys, I walked away from the desk before close. Did I miss anything?" Knowing that the market had moved 1,000 points. But that's just me being stupid. Every once in a while, I like to kind of poke at the hornet's nest and see who chases. No, French, it really didn't. Top Step closes trading at 4:10 Eastern, and Trump had just started speaking at that point. So I do know some people in our Discord who were on like Take Profit Trader, which allows trading until 5 p.m. So those traders were able to capitalize. I was not. Anyone in a personal account who was able to trade, probably did really well. Anytime I see the market trending hard in a direction like that, that is usually market on easy mode for me, right? Any little pop, you just kind of get in, and if we're dumping hard, it's likely to continue. I mean, we've reversed the whole day. Oh my! Late night buddy options degen is here. One of our past, two to go. Good job. Lazio FTMO is the most reputable prop from your list to trade CFDs. Yeah, they're a big name out there. I think I read something they were acquiring another a broker of some sort. This may have been a month or two ago. I'm sure if you Google, you can find some information about that. So I would think that they're probably, if that's where what your options are, it's probably one of the better options to trade. But I can't vouch for them personally. But I do recognize the name as being one of the bigger in the like forex and maybe CFD space. Oh, French fish took a nap. Lucky you. I was gonna take my regularly scheduled nap at market close until futures open. So kind of cram in like an hour and a half or 2 hours. But when the market is just moving like that, my brain is being fed a stream of dopamine. So really hard for me to kind of chill out. Was excited for the open to see how things kind of played out here. I mean, there's volatility. There's just nothing I'm super interested in yet, and I talk about it on the stream often. I love when the charts are screaming at me like, "Oh my God, if this trade hits, it's going to be, a banger." And I don't have that right now. So if I miss some downside, that's just the way it's got to be. There will be another opportunity. There's going to be setups. If the market continues to trend down, it will be one of those evenings where, it's going to grind down overnight, and you potentially have reversal opportunities. So short the pops, back into the direction of the trend, and that's what I'll wait for. Just about being patient, waiting for my setup, and then taking advantage, not feeling that need that sometimes creeps up where I feel like I have to trade, or I'm gonna miss something, or all of those thoughts. I've gotten better at just dismissing them and saying that's it doesn't meet my criteria, because essentially any short that you took off the open here has pretty much worked. You got some moves against you, and these moves are not, they look relatively small, but that's 57 points. That's kind of tough. I mean, even like I said, one micro, it's $100 on a micro, and a micro is kind of nothing. So I'll just patiently wait, chat with you guys. We'll keep an eye on what's moving and what isn't. Looks like crypto's getting pretty beat up right now. So a lot of red. Trump coin down 10%. That thing was at $80. Here, we'll take a quick peek while we're just kind of chilling here. This chart is pretty wild. This thing went from this isn't even really a start of it. I think it started trading at like 18 cents and ran to $80 in 2 days and then has sold off all the way back down to $9.32. So my advice is don't marry the stocks, the options position, the futures position. Don't fall in love with them. We get into positions to make money, and if they are not performing well or the trade's not going in your favor, get out. Don't just, there've been some really, you look here when we zoom out, this doesn't look like much, but I think this was like 40, 50% pop, 70%, and then, followed by 36% down just to these lows here. So don't fall in love with this stuff. You want to invest in a company long term, you got an IRA, that's a bit different. If your time horizon is 20 years, that's one thing. If you're a day trader or a swing trader, don't get trapped in this stuff. My philosophy is if it's not working, get out, reevaluate. I can always get back in, but I don't want to sit through a ton of red and then potentially not have the position move back to break even or in profit. And then you end up doing the hope and pray kind of trading scenario, which not a great place to be. 650 out of gate. NQ short newbie. You're up 650. That's nice. Very brave. French fish. All these trading platforms definitely use dopamine addiction the same way casinos do. Yeah, I mean that was the argument against Robinhood where they had the exploding confetti and all this kind of stuff. But I mean I get it. I'm an addict. I need to be careful about how I approach markets, no doubt. I like to talk about how there's Gambler Tom and then there's, Trader Tom. Trader Tom has rules, follows a plan, manages risk, isn't excessively greedy, takes profit at targets, doesn't sit here all night. And then Gambler Tom will sit here for 20 hours trying to make 50K in, overnight kind of a thing. There's a big difference for me. Logic goes out the window. I'm clicking buttons. I'll trade chop. It's, there's a clear difference, and I'm well aware of when I'm being a gambler versus a trader that's following a process. Newbie wanted to hold, but you had shit your pants by then. All right. I don't blame you. Gold on the moon. Gold is no. Gold's basically flat. You can see GC here. Did we, there's been some volatility, but we kind of ended up where we started, right? This is pre-Trump, rip, chop around, dump, and now we are, essentially rip back. That's why we're kind of flat on the day. Essentially flat. So not a lot happening there. It did make a new all-time high. It looks like almost hit 3,200, which is pretty wild. Lazio, yeah, I'm still in Bitcoin. I'm in an IBIT position and I'm in a FETH position, which is down like 40% or something. I should have put a stop on that, and I don't know why I didn't. I should have stopped out of that position. There's no doubt about it, but If it dumps too much, I mean, I've been keeping an eye on it. I do have a kind of a line in the sand. I'm willing to eat, take a certain loss dollar amount that's within risk parameters, but I do regret not having like a hard stop on that position. Bitcoin, I'll probably just hold on to. I mean, my average entry price was Bitcoin at 77K, so we're up at 83.4 currently. So I'm still in profit on that, covering a little bit of the Ethereum loss, but you know, it's kind of like a long term. I don't really care what happens. Hold it for the next few years. Bitcoin has only gone up. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but it's an acceptable amount of risk. I'm willing to give it a shot here. Well, as you says, we're getting outside day. Um, okay, I don't know how we could. Let me look at the charts here. Back up. Wait, outside day on what? Let's make sure we're on the same page. NQ, most no chance in my opinion, but I don't know. Let's make sure we're looking at the same thing. What's up, Shanthi? How are you? Newbie, we have come a long way. How we started trading. I agree, man. It's hard, day to day to kind of measure progress, but I've had other people point out to me like they've recognized, some of the changes in my trading, and compared to where I was at 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, there's obvious progress. It's just hard to measure on a day to day basis because I feel like I'm doing the same thing every day. But there are changes that I'm making over time that little make a 1% kind of gradual change each day, and it adds up at the end of the year. And then you stack a few years together and you end up in a much better place. I'm a bit of a knucklehead, so it does, I am stubborn. It does take me a minute to kind of accept the reality sometimes. Like, I like to do things my own way, and sometimes my own way is just stupid. Not gonna lie. And I got to do the stupid thing like three, four, 5 times, 10 times, and then finally I'm like, okay, this is crazy. This is not working for me, right? There's that saying: when the pain gets great enough, we change. The pain, the suffering, when that stuff starts to really sink in, and you're like, I've had, disgusted with myself. I'm tired of behaving in this way. We do something different. Options degen, it'll double from here easily in the next year or so. You talking about Bitcoin, crypto? Yeah, I agree, man. Look, you could, I mean, go back as far as the Bitcoin chart has only gone up and to the right. Have there been major pullbacks, 50, 60, 80% corrections? Yes. But if you've been holding from the beginning or held pretty much, any time in the last, what is it, 12 or 15 years, whenever Bitcoin, I think was 2010, 11, 12, something like that, you're up significantly. So it's capital in a retirement account that, you know, can sit there for the next 5, 10, 15 years. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll make up for it, some other way. But I don't want to be sitting here 3, 4 years from now like, oh my God, do you remember when Bitcoin was like, 50, 80K, 100K, and it's up at like 200? And again, that doesn't have to happen. But historically, anyone who's just held has been proven right. So, like it or not, I'm not like a Bitcoin diehard believer. I think the technology, blockchain tech, is amazing. I think it will be used for much more than pretty much anything that where you need a public ledger or some sort of security. So maybe like titles for cars or houses, any kind of transactions, domains, for example. I've experience in that industry. A lot of the big domain registrars are trying to tokenize domains. Just opens up a lot of opportunity. So I mean, for me, it's like, hey, let's take a shot at it, right? Outside day on Bitcoin. All right, Laz. Let's see. A BTC, very possible at this point. I mean, there's an hour and 30 minutes left, so it could happen, but even if it doesn't happen this day, we could look for a compound outside, right? That's just, we got a failed two up. So let's look at this Bitcoin here so you guys are aware of what I'm looking at. Let's go. Bitcoin. So here's Bitcoin daily. We got this big shooter candle forming. So even if this doesn't go outside, it's probably going to do something like this, right? Or that's what we would expect. We would not be surprised if this candle closes like this or lower in the next hour, even if it closes a little higher. But it takes the low and then goes compound outside bar of this candle right here, right? So this is higher than this. This would be lower than this. So this together would form compound outside. It's a 2-2 reversal, compound outside bar, failed two up, all the same stuff. So, and I'm just hoping that we don't pull back. I mean, if we pull back into like somewhere down into like the 70s, I'm okay with that. I mean, I hope it just, I hope I stay in profit, but if not, no big deal. Again, a really important thing to I think understand about trading is we're going to take losses. There is no one who is winning 100%. No one has a 100% win rate. If they tell you that, they're full of it, right? Even I think like a 50% win rate, 51% win rate, you're doing better than most other traders. And you can't really just look at win rate without looking at, risk return. You can have if you have a 1-to-1 risk return, so you risk 100 to make 100, you need I think it's like 54% win rate to be profitable. You need to stay above 50%. If you have like a 1-to-5, so risk 100 to make 500, you only have to be right like 35% of the time to be profitable. So that's usually what I aim for is higher risk return. Win rate doesn't have to be as great. Imagine getting your car sim swapped. I don't know what that's referring to. Losing your keys could have a whole new meaning. Oh, I got you. Last says I was thinking about compound three conform two, then we could expect it to take the highs. I mean once we go outside bar, it's like once a three, leave it be. We don't really know what's gonna happen at that point. Could it go outside and then, that be the bottom of a broadening formation? Yes. It could also be expansion. Like we're not really sure. We need to wait for additional evidence to kind of support what we're looking for. Definitely looks like I got Bitcoin up on my other chart. Definitely looks like it's trying its damnedest to go outside day. And again, if it doesn't do it in one candle, probably just gonna take another. Newbie, is there a rule when we should look at multiple bars in a compound way? I kind of do it all the time. Yeah, I mean, there's no real rule. There's that setup I call a 4-bar strat play. We had a good example last night. I'll pull it up real quick here. This was, so right here on NQ. This was where I was sleeping at the time, but this is where I would have wanted to short this candle, right? We get inside bar, we get this big outside bar, inside bar, a failed two up, right? And we form an outside, this right here, all of these candles form an outside bar of this candle right here. So we kind of reclaim the range of this three. We don't get all the way down here, but this was still good. This was a great trade. This was 240 points if you held to the bottom. So let's say you get half of it, 120. That's a great trade in my book. So yeah, we're always looking to see if buyers can't keep this going in this direction, we look for sellers to take over and push it back through the other, back through the range. So yeah, I'm always just keeping an eye on, like, all right, this setup here, this triggered, right? This rev strat, right? Inside bar, failed two up, it triggered, didn't go anywhere. This for me is one of those what I call 4 bar play. It's just a strat setup. And this is technically like a 5 bar, right? We got this one, two, three, 4 bar is usually where I like to see it get it done, but it couldn't do it in 4 bars. But so what? It got it done in five. So, you know, it's just a matter of looking at charts on different time frames, right? I was talking to Solanke earlier today. He mentioned 195-minute chart, which splits the stock market into morning session, afternoon session. I think options degen. Correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned this 460-minute time frame. We were trying to figure out where that comes from or what the reasoning is. I was kind of out of gas at the end of the day, and I couldn't remember who told me about it, but it's been on my kind of notepad here. So if you're still here, clue me in to what was going on. Was that you, or am I wrong about that? Was that somebody else? Obsessed funded trader. I don't know who that is. Probably somebody I know because they call me Tommy. I told a few friends in a little Discord, probably a little private Discord I hang out with, to come and troll me if they're bored. Gonna bet it's thick. French Dakota's win rate was like 2 to 3% of her break even, and he took his account to 500K. Exactly, Fran. I mean, I think his like overall win rate's like 35%. So I mean, out of 10 trades, he's wrong 6.5 times, but he ran his account up to 500K. So that's because he can put up, well, on his losing days, maybe he loses 3 grand, 5 grand. On his winning days, he's putting up 10, 15, 20,000 on a good day, and it makes up for the losses. So, it's not about we're just not going to be right all the time. Sometimes the market wants to be an MFer, does not want to cooperate. Even when setups are like match all of our conditions, it's just because we check a bunch of boxes doesn't mean the market's going to go where we expect. It often doesn't, and that's just the way it is. What's up, Frankie? How are you? Lazio says run if the charlatan says he got an 80% win rate. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen some people it's also about over what period of time, right? It's like it's not hard. Let's pull up my stats here in this my primary account. I've got like pretty fantastic stats. 71% win rate, right? Average win loss. So for every, my average winner is 100, my average loser is $16. That's a great ratio. Profit factor of 14.63. This account's doing well. It's also only been 3 trading days. So, yeah, I'm up 3,200. I had a really great start, 1751, 700, 757. But, I expect these numbers to go down. I wouldn't, I posted this and shared and said, I'm off to a good start. But, the truth is, check back with me in 30 days and see. Check, 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 check. This is gonna haunt me, man. I don't even, this is like one of those problems I absolutely have to fix, but I don't even know how. I don't, maybe I just got to order a different mic. I don't know why it disconnects. Anyway, I was saying on the 15 minute, we got shooter counter hammer. So if we take this low, maybe I'll take a little, tiny trade just to dip my toe in the water. So what I want to do here is on my execution platform, right, top step, we're going to mark the 15. And if we break this low, maybe take a stab at it. But we'll see. Again, continuity is to the downside. We got the month quarter open above, we got the weekly open above, we get the daily open above. So, that's in my opinion why this, we had this hammer candle right here that broke up, but just didn't get going anywhere because we're fighting all the other participation groups. So we'll see what happens here. That's the only thing I'm kind of eyeballing right now. We get an hourly flip in 13 minutes. I have a feeling tonight we like after the hourly flip, we're probably going to open inside hour, potentially close inside hour, and then at 9 a.m. Eastern. So in roughly 2 hours and 13 minutes, there might be a setup to take for an hourly inside bar break, but a lot of ifs before any of that happens. What mic am I using? I have a really nice setup at home, but I'm visiting family, so I just ordered a cheap, USB-C mic that is nothing special. I've never had a problem on my with my other mic though, so that's what kind of leads me to think that it's a mic issue. You know what I might do? I might switch. I got it plugged into a certain USB-C port. I might just switch that up and see if that fixes it. Just hopefully by magic. My life used to be diagnosing computer and server issues for years, like problem solving some of the weirdest shit you've ever heard, and most of you probably wouldn't understand. And I just don't want to do it anymore. I just want my stuff to work. So if that means I gotta swap out this mic, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna spend like in the past. I would spend hours and hours trying to figure out how to solve certain problems. I'm too old, man. I don't have that energy anymore. I'm not like a 20-year-old young buck ready to conquer the world. Um, Yeah, I don't know why I'm not getting Discord notifications. That's the other thing. When you guys tag me, I'm not getting anything on my computer. I do get them on mobile, but when I'm in Discord, it won't notify me on mobile. So I'll figure that out. I'll look at it tonight. What's up, Alec? How are you? Glad I was able to, hopefully help you earlier. No trades yet, so no, kind of details here on where I put my stops and entries. This only thing I'm looking at is this 15 minute, which we're stuck inside currently, but if we do break this low, I will get into a little something something. Probably going to be a wider stop than I would ordinarily use just because of the size of these candles. But hopefully it gives you some sort of idea about what's what and kind of how I approach things. And then I'm going to be more consistent with live streaming here. I do enjoy it. Like I've mentioned before, I wasn't sure if streaming was interfering with my trading, and for me, trading is priority one. Right? I'm not out here to be any kind of influencer, or I mean, it would be great to make some YouTube ad money and get some kind of affiliate deal with somebody that's reputable and basically get free money in addition to trading. I don't knock anyone for doing that, but My goal is just to share my experience, kind of distract myself when the market isn't really doing a whole lot, and just share what I know with you guys. And if it helps, that's amazing. There were no other strat traders that I knew who live streamed, and I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like I've seen, there are plenty of other traders that do New York Open, and you can see them trade live, but no one that trades a strat, and so I got a little bit of a niche and figured why not? Let's do it, right? French fish, uh, accepted. Alec fellow IT guy, yeah, that's me, man. First computer when I was 5, 4. Didn't really know, just played this little clown game on a Commodore 64. But by the time I was like 8, 9, 10, I was all in, man. Dial up back when Prodigy was a thing, 2400 baud modem, all the way through. Like I was into it. So yeah, then I got into servers and infrastructure, web hosting, domains, domain registrations. It's been quite a journey. I just pulled up my escrow.com account and looked at some of the domains I sold. I sold cardealers.com. I sold homesearch.com. I think that was my best sale to date, 225,000. I sold that domain for. I paid $100 when I bought it. Several 90, $100,000 domain sales, some in the 5K, whatever. It's over the last 20 years. Pretty wild. Should write a book about it. It's got to be an interesting story, I think. Successful business guy to full blown heroin addict to recovered person into trading. You know, it's been a doozy. Doesn't look like this 15 minutes going to break to the downside. No setup. Inside 30. Got a hammer forming on the 60, but we're just chilling right now. 4 hour hammer setting up. Maybe we do a little gap fill, but nothing I'm super interested in yet. Anybody else looking at something I missed? You guys take any trades? Sarah or Lane? All right, I'll check in with them. I mean, I'm like the IT guy though. I'll figure it out. It's just the problem, Frankie, is it requires like some effort, basically. Like I have to prioritize it, and I'm always so hyper focused on trading that it kind of takes a backseat. But if I'm gonna do this regularly, it is important. I hate when the mic cuts off, so I know I've said this like 1,000 times. I will look into it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna write it down. Fix mic. All right, because me just saying it sometimes it's just ping pongs around in my head, and then 10 minutes later it just evaporates. Newbie for this, I probably do. I would probably do single MNQs. I mean three on even just like on the tick chart here. Like what is this? Well, man, just tag it. There we go. 40 points. So 20, 40, 60, 80. That's $240 a risk on a 3 micro starter. Not okay with that. With a $500 daily loss limit. Rather just do one at a time and be a little more conservative. And then if things start to work, I'm fine quickly adding to my positions. Like yesterday off the open, I think I started with one, then it was like two, three, quickly up to 6, 9, 12. 4 hour inside bar broke, and I was like, I might have added another three. I might have been up to 15. Might have peaked out at 12, but in very quickly. Nice push up 750. plus 250 unrealized. It was it was a great trade for me, and I was at no point freaking out about the amount of risk. My stop was almost always um, very small. Would have been a very small loss or break even. Once I start to add, so yes, the first starter, let's say the first one, two, or three micros that I get into, every ad is going to adjust my entry price, is going to have a bigger impact on my entry price. But once you get up to, six and you add one or two or three, your average entry doesn't move as much. And so I like to keep my stops basically break even or in profit slightly. And I just scale up as fast as I can. If I stop out, I stop out. But when they work like they did yesterday, it's just, the market. Anybody who traded Globex open yesterday knows the market just ripped up. I mean, it was gapping on the tick chart. It's crazy. And then I just quickly scaled out, left some runners. So, yeah, I'll probably just keep it small. Alex said, took a long, completely forced. That's not fun. Oh damn, you're an OG. Yeah, I'm an OG man. OG, OG. Worked help desk for 4 years. Not you don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, I got burnt out. I've been doing this. I ran this hosting company from '97. I incorporated and then sold it in 2009, and that was like a 365 day, around the clock kind of job where I had data centers, hundreds of servers, tens of thousands of websites on our network, and it just had to work. Didn't matter, customers all across the globe. They didn't celebrate the same holidays. They didn't really care if it was snowing. Like things just had to work. It was very stressful, and I kind of got burnt out. So Brent says stop trading Asia, just too slow for you. I mean, well, this isn't. This should. I mean, we've been kind of there's volatility here, but if we look on like a 5 minute chart here, it's been pretty sideways, right? Like we're just kind of stuck in this zone here, which yes is 160 points, but there's no clear direction here. Can you get lucky and catch something? Yeah, sure, but I mean, who wants to just kind of gamble on that kind of range with no clear direction? That's just not for me. I'd rather the market show me where it's wants to go here. Now, if we like start to kind of fall apart, which is what I was looking for earlier, I'll be interested. But it's just not worth, in my experience, man, it's just not worth taking a bunch of paper cuts or trying to trade when the market's not moving, right? Wait until we're getting moves like New York this morning where things are ripping 300 points in, the first 30 minutes where it's you just buy the dip and you make money. You don't even really have to think about it. Strat works are really great for with momentum and volatility. When we're just kind of chopping sideways, those setups aren't going to print. Oh my god, Alec! I used to have a two-way a pager, man, and my ex-girlfriend would go nuts. The pager would go off at 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, Christmas, whatever. We monitored all of our infrastructure, and if something didn't ping, boom, I got an alert. And yeah, it would make people in my life crazy, but that's what I had to do, and that's how I paid bills. I'm like, hey, you might not like it, but that's how we have a house. Frankie G Scalp Spy calls and puts 5 for 5 with two DTEs. Nice job. Alex says, no wonder I trade now. I love being able to rely on myself, right? I sit here, I show up, I don't have to talk to anyone. If I don't want to, I'm not relying on like customers or I don't have to do sales calls. It's just the freedom that you get with trading. You can do it from anywhere, and that's one great thing that I liked about my job was, running an internet business. Now, I was kind of tied to that area because we actually had physical servers and stuff, and somebody had to be available. And even though I had employees, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to. But I had the luxury of being able to travel and also work from anywhere with an internet connection, and that's what I love about trading. Is my dream here in the near future, hopefully, is to buy a trailer camper of some sort, take my dog on the road, get some Starlink, and just trade and travel and enjoy myself for a year or until I get tired of kind of living that lifestyle. But trading, is one of the only kind of gigs where you can do that. Keeping an eye on this 15-minute here. We got a 30-minute inside bar. Let's go back to. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna mark the 30, and we'll see what happens here. And we get a little domino trade. Inside 60, which I usually try and avoid, but with these two triggers so close to each other, I might take a little stab at it again. Just small size. Not looking to hit a home run or a grand slam. I hear Trump on in the back. I think my family is watching something on TV. Anybody know? Is he live or are they playing pre-recorded stuff? I don't see anything here about Trump speaking on financial juice. French, at least now you get to basically play a video game for a living. Yeah, it's that's yes, agree. Order filled. I mean, that's a huge 30 points is a huge stop for me for this time of day. But if we start falling apart here, it could. So this is how I'll use the tick chart. See this little, we get a little bit of market structure here above my entry, gives me a tight stop. And yeah, but I'm using, the 1530. 4 hours red. We get the outside bar breaking. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Would be looking for targeting new low a day under 819. Might add to this. We'll see here. See if I get a decent opportunity. Go back to the 1 minute here. Trying to go 1 minute outside bar. Might not get it. Might not get a shot. Maybe a little back test of this 30. Fall apart. So pretty much in a risk-free trade here. If I get stopped out, it's 4 points, less than $10, no big deal. Again, I'm not swinging for the fences here with this kind of volatility, and just there's a lot of unknowns on how the market's going to kind of digest this tariff news. Little back test to the 30. See if it stays under this. Might be a good place to just add one. Gap down on the tick chart, so kind of tough. Usually these get filled and then resume in the direction that they were going if they're going to continue. So I don't want to add right here. Other reason I'm not going to be super aggressive is the inside 60 chop zone. I'm fine taking a little shot at this, see if we get a new low a day, but I don't want to be too I don't want to be too crazy. Inside 60 is on my do not trade list, but there are very few exceptions where I will take it. Like if the 30 hits its target, then the 60 will be a two down. So worth taking a little, just a little something something. Also keeps the itch away. I'll catch up on chat in a second. Let me just stay focused on this. So I mean, this is, we're up 36 points already. Small size, 50 to 70 bucks here roughly times 3 accounts, 150. I've been sitting here for an hour and 7 minutes. That's a good you know, try and keep things in perspective. Like what would I have to do normally to make 150 bucks? I'll break even. That's not, if I stop out, no loss. We'll patiently wait for something else to set up. So filled that little gap. Hopefully we just push back down. I feel like I should have added on that. That was a nice little filled this little tick chart gap back test of this 30-minute trigger, and we still got 21 minutes up popped up here. Order filled. Stopped. Completely okay with that. If if there's a retrade, the 30 retriggers, I'll just jump back in. But I'm down, 24 cents, and that's it. That's kind of how I do it. See, get my finger on the trigger here just in case we kind of push back down. But that's a good example of why I avoid the inside 60s, just because you can, they're just so kind of choppy sometimes. That's not worth being aggressive. Like I'd rather wait for, a better setup. 15-minute back and forth. We got 5 minutes left in that candle. I'm gonna wait. If we get the 30, I'll take another crack. Maybe hop in two. Yeah, I mean, it's 70 points from the low to this high here. It's a bit nutty. Just be careful if you're out here trying to catch some of these trades. Doesn't look like much on a 5 minute chart, but when you're really zoomed in, you can see. All right, let me check back in with you guys. Do do do. Video game. Yep. Alex says that sucks. I was on call for hospital. Same thing. Yeah. Yeah, dude. That just you know. The reason I was successful is because I made myself available. Like somebody knew, like my clients knew they could call if it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I would tell them, I don't give a shit what time it is. I don't care if it's a holiday. If you're having a problem, you call me. We'll get it fixed. Right? You can charge a premium for that type of service. Worked out well, but yeah, man, I don't really miss it. It was it was stressful. Agree. Options, degen, self sufficient, self employed can't be beat. You do have to be like a self starter and motivated kind of person, though. I don't think it's for everybody. Like, I can't imagine doing anything else, but there are some people who just, if they don't have clear directions and they're not motivated, they're just gonna like sleep all day or do, God knows what, video games or. But for me, I can't imagine a better situation. Yeah, like no other way but to make this work. That's kind of like my motto. It's like this has to work, and it can work. It does work when I let it work. It's sometimes I get in my own way. Do, do, do. Frankie says I like the sound of risk-free trade, just like duty-free gifts. Yeah, I mean for me as a trader, there is no better position to be in than in a risk-free trade because no matter what, I can't lose. I might not make money, but that's the second best trade you can be in. Number one trade is a winning trade. Second best is a trade where you stop out break even. Like for me, that is no stress. That is like all right, we're in a good position. Either this works or it doesn't. I especially love when I can get into positions like that with some size. Like I'm able to scale in, scale in, scale in, break even stop, and if it works, I'm gonna print money, and if it doesn't, no big deal. We try again. Yeah, not much going on here. Inside 60 got us kind of jammed up. We got a 15-minute flip in 20 seconds. We might just stay stuck for a while. Usually, and I've got it on my trade plan here. Where is it? I'll share it with you guys. I marked it earlier because I was sharing this with somebody. Once the easy money has been made, walk away, right? The easy money was anybody who was trading from 4 to 5. They got 1,000 points plus of a move, and now we're likely to stay a little sideways for a bit. Like to expect another 100 to, well, I mean, 100's very doable. We're in a The 4 hour candle is what, a 218 point range, right? So 100 points, wouldn't be crazy. But if you're sitting here expecting another complete dump of 500 points or 1,000 points, it's just not likely. And for me, that just means take my foot off the gas, chill out, wait for something to set up, wait for this inside hour to close. Like I mentioned, we were going to open most likely inside hour. We opened inside hour and then at 9 p.m. So it's 8 p.m. Once this candle closes, we'll see if we can, I'll probably won't be live streaming, but I will be keeping an eye on this inside bar to see which direction it breaks. Bear would be preferred. It's in the direction of time frame continuity. However, I would probably take a trade to the upside just because I'm a big fan of inside bars. And we got this, kind of thing going on here, right? A bit of a broadening formation. It's not picture perfect, but maybe this ends up being the bottom here. Who knows? Worth taking a shot for me. Again, small size, risk is manageable. If it's a loss, no big deal. If it works, this could end up being a good trade. Let's see. Poking around the market, everything is looks very similar. Oil looks very similar. Silver's kind of stuck sideways. Platinum stuck sideways. Copper sideways. Bitcoin still selling off. Let's check Bitcoin futures. Did we get that outside day? We did. Lazio, nice call. There's Bitcoin. There's the outside day. That's it. We're just looking for, setups that we anticipate are going to move in a certain direction and hit a certain price target, and we try and look for a way in on a smaller time frame. Frankie G, understand the stress you had operating a center 365 24/7. When you're the go-to man because of the responsibilities, it's not easy. It never is. No, I mean, like it's fine to say, all right, I got a crew of people who are supposed to be on call, but like, what if one of them doesn't answer at 2 a.m.? I'm the one that has to, I'm going to hear from the customer about why somebody didn't take care of it. So there was just always that kind of stressful overhang of like, what if something breaks? What if and it's tech stuff, man. Shit, things break. We would get denial of service attacks. Servers, equipment would just die after it's been running for 3 years nonstop. Something just hard drive dies, a network card dies, cable just for no reason stops working, or a switch. There's just a lot of moving parts. So sometimes I miss it, but mostly not. Like I feel like if I wish that I had been in a better place in my life throughout that whole period. I would have been in, much better off than I am today. But it's okay. It's everything I've done got me to where I'm at today, and I just try and be grateful for the fact that I'm still alive, because a lot of people I know out there that were doing the same things that I was are no longer here. Trying to retrigger this 30. Don't know if I'm too interested. We got 10 minutes left. I mean, maybe it's kind of tempting. I don't know. We do some quick chart kind of skimming here. See what we got on a 5, on the 15. It's just not super great.
Order filled.
We're going to try it. Tight stop. It's going to be my last attempt, and then I'm going to go get something to eat, kind of chill out for a moment. Wait for the hourly flip in 39 minutes. Keep an eye on that inside bar. And that's pretty much it. That's my game plan. If I don't, if nothing sets up the rest of the night, I always check back in on the new 4 hour flip to see where we're at. It's usually 10 o'clock my time, so when I'm winding down for the day. But I don't have a lot of, I'm not super confident. Again, the inside hour is what's kind of holding us up here, in my opinion. We can get that. If we can get the 60 go two down, right? So the 30-minute hits its target. Right here's the 30. Right, 30 in. Well, was in force, not currently. But if we hit this target, we'll get the hour to go two down, and then maybe we get a little follow through. But until that happens, it's I'm not expecting a whole lot. Just a lot of chippity chop. I know, newbie. It should have. Sometimes the NQ just wants to do NQ things and not cooperate. And I have to not let myself get all worked up about it. I can get insanely frustrated sitting here in shop, and it's like I'm putting myself through that. I have the option to not sit here, right? I could go snuggle my dog. We could play fetch. I could get some food. I could watch some TV. Like I don't have to sit here and just get angry about price action not doing anything. Usually that happens when I'm in the red and I'm trying, I feel like I'm in a situation where I'm trying to get back to break even or green and the market's not cooperating and then I get frustrated and that's when I make really silly mistakes. So, one of the things I'm working on is just not sitting here as long. Try and limit myself to like 1 or 2 hours, take a break, check in later, market's not going anywhere. Alex says, did something stupid. I locked out earlier during New York and just took a big loss on my combine over trading. Would you then take profit on the 1 hour highs? Um, what do you mean the 1 hour highs? At 30-minute target? You mean the 60 going two down? Yeah, this just doesn't want to get no love here.
Order filled.
Jesus. Yeah, that's going to be it for me for now. Till that 60, closes, it's not worth trading. So end up small red here, 38 bucks, set 39 bucks, not a big deal. Always better to walk away small red than, big red. Easy to come back from, minus 100, 200, 300. Way harder to come back from like 800 or down 1,000. That's why I don't suggest, I do suggest everyone set a daily loss limit or some point where you cut yourself off. And based on your average winning trade, like if your average winning trade is like $200 or $300, you don't want to cut yourself off at like 600. That means you got to make two or three good trades to erase that loss. Like I don't want to sit here and just make, multi I took two attempts. It's we can see we're not getting any follow through. There's we're just chopping around sideways. So skim through chat again, make sure I've answered any questions. Um Alec, like if you entered on the 212 up, would you take it that 1 hour candle high? I would probably trail my stop is usually what I do. Typically, so the way I do it is like during slow markets, right? Overnight, Globex, Asia. If I get 40 points out of a move, I will scale out some. I'll take some profit. I don't care where it's at target wise. Like I know that for me, 40 points overnight is a decent move. If things are just kind of chopping around, I mean, even 20, 30 points I'll be okay with. And then just leave that position on and trail my stop, or leave it break even and just let it go. Like if I think we're going to reverse here and just keep pushing higher and I have no reason to get out of the trade, then I'll just, I'll leave it break even, slowly trail it up, one or the other. I don't really have a set like defined rules. I prefer to trail. I don't want to. It's tricky because Sarah pounds the table on take profits at targets, right? And it's hard for me to look at like each individual trade as just this is the magnitude, this is where I'm going to get out most of it. Let me just lock in the profits and then walk away. Like I was talking to options DGen about how I'm gonna look, my sometimes my targets are like target 1 is okay, but I want target 4 to get hit, and it's not always realistic. Sometimes the market just is not going to give us a whole lot of follow through. So I try and lock in profit like I did last night. I think I was up 40 points, 50 something like that in a short period of time. I just locked it in and then left some runners and stopped out of those break even. I think over time you get a feel for, what you're kind of looking for out of each trade. If this just starts falling apart now, I'm going to be a little irritated, but it's okay. Made it really difficult to, to get into this. Yeah, I'd usually like I don't want to limit my I don't want to cap my profits, but I also don't want to give back a ton. So I usually, I try and exit a chunk somewhere along the lines and then, leave some runners and trail it kind of tight. Depends on what the market's doing. If the market is really moving and we're getting follow through, then great, but if the market's kind of chopping around, there's that saying, see money, take money. So if I'm up, 20, 30, 40 points, sometimes it's easier just to take the money and run, close up shop. Like last night, the first 15 minutes, I was up 750 times three accounts. How much more do I need to make, right? Like I could stop trading right there and be good and not have to trade at all today. Or, not just like skip New York and sleep in. So it's, I still struggle to find the balance, like where, how much money is enough money versus letting trades play out versus not being too greedy. Still a work in progress. So yeah, here we go. Exactly. I mean, like this just makes me crazy. Looks like we're gonna break through again and then just V shape right back to your face. That's a 60-minute inside bar for you. Chop, 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 chop. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I appreciate you stopping by. I thought we would get some, kind of crazy moves we did earlier, but nothing really for me to trade. Gonna wait for the new 60 in 30 minutes. We just had a 30-minute flip, and we'll kind of keep my eyes on what happens on that inside bar. That will be my next kind of trade, and if I'll set some alerts on the high and low a little bit before they would trigger. Give me a few minutes to jump back on the computer here and kind of see how things play out. But again, like I mentioned earlier, we could just, we could kind of be stuck chopping around sideways here for a bit. So I'm not too excited at this point about what I see so far. But, that could change. Last night we chopped along sideways for several hours and then finally fell apart. So, anyhow, appreciate you all. Hope I was helpful. If you have any questions, you can always DM me or drop messages in Funded Chat. And that's it. Have a great night.